Hey guys, how's it going? It's Joy. I'm back yet again with another video. Welcome to my channel. It's called Live Narc Free, and it is all about getting free and staying free away from the narcissist. So today, you guys, I have a different topic, something that's like I haven't really talked about as much on my channel, but I just want to touch a little bit on it. So today, you guys, I want to talk about narcissistic parents, and I want to talk about narcissistic in-laws. I know I haven't really said much really about narcissistic in-laws like that at all, but just being in support groups with people dealing with narcissistic parents and in-laws, and having a narcissistic caregiver, which was my aunt, having that experience of dealing with a narc parent. So I definitely had that experience, but I wanted to talk about how narcissistic parents and in-laws, how they have the power to destroy your relationships. And I think this is you have to watch out for this and be careful, because the thing about narcissistic parents and in-laws is that they, a lot of the times, whether it's a male or female, they're the head of households. A lot of them are very controlling. A lot of them are very manipulative. A lot of them don't want to see their children grow up, their adult children. They don't want to see them happy. They don't want to see them move on. They don't want to see them have friends, even romantic relationships, whether it's the parent or the in-law, same thing. Because really, a narc in-law is basically a narc parent at the same time. So it could go either way. But my personal experience has been, as I said, I started this channel, well, it was way before I started talking about narc abuse, but I was living with a narc. It was my aunt. I lived with her since 2010. I moved out of, I met my male narc in 2010. I was living with my aunt starting 2006. Good Lord, because that was when I moved to California in 2006, and I didn't end up leaving California until 2017. Long time, right? But I didn't know that my aunt was a narcissist, and so now that I look back, I'm like, wow, I've really been dealing with narcissists a whole lot longer than I've been sharing. So yeah, but that's pretty crazy, right? But that 2010 was when I met the male narc, right? But anyway, so in regards to my aunt, living with her was definitely, I didn't realize it was abuse at the time, but it was emotional abuse. Narcissistic parents do that, and in-laws too. I'll tell you, in the beginning, it was the love bombing stage, where they groom you, they train you to, basically be their pet and to be with them all the time. They're trying to get to know you. They want you to open up, even as a parent or even as an in-law can do this too. Basically, like, let's say you're dating a guy or a girl and their parent is a narcissist. The narc in-law will try to get to know you, will be interested in who you are, and pretend like they want to, learn more about you. They want you to open up, share, details about your life. But again, they're going to use that against you. And the parent could actually do this too. Like your narcissistic parent, and you recognize it, they'll train you to be an emotional punching bag. They'll train you to be like a puppet for them, right? But yeah, so with my aunt, living with her for that amount of time, I realized, like, it was nice in the beginning. I got anything and everything that I wanted. We would go out to nice fancy restaurants a lot, go shopping, and just spend quality time. But I would say it was the year 2009 was when I started to notice that things started to change, meaning like nothing that I could do was right. Nothing that I ever did was right. Everything that I did was criticized. It was ridiculed. It was wrong. If I had feelings, whether if I was feeling sad or I was feeling happy or if I was feeling depressed or if I was feeling exhilarated, it's like she didn't really want me to feel that. She just wanted me to well, she wanted to be in control of my emotions, and she didn't want me to feel. I wasn't allowed to be myself. I had to, put on this facade myself. I had to have a false self, essentially, That's how narcissists groom their children. So, yeah, during that period of time, as I said, I noticed that when I started to do things around the house, it wasn't appreciated. I went out of my way to do chores, which, as living with her, I wanted to do as much as I could. And I wanted to feel like, yeah, I'm helping out and around in the house. Like, I don't want to just be sitting on my butt all day, But eventually I started to do work. But before that, she would be like, oh, Joy, can you wash the dishes? Or, oh, Joy, can you mop the floor? Or, can you help me cook? And I'll be like, yeah, sure, no problem. But then I remember there'd be times when I went out of my way to wash the dishes, and she's like, oh, I noticed that there's the dishes is not that clean. You sure you cleaned it? Something like that. Or if I'm mopping the floor, and I'm thinking like, oh wow, like I'm doing an amazing job, like, I'm helping out in the house. And she's like, oh, you missed the spot. And I'm like, okay, can I at least get some sort of like, acknowledgement that I did actually mop the floor? Like, you know what I mean? So narcissists are very critical. The other thing with her was that, and I'm pretty sure that I shared this before, but it's been a while since I talked about narcissistic parents and in-laws. But yeah, she would always be comparing herself to me. And I want to say that my aunt was a somatic narcissist. So they're very much so about their looks. Very much about their looks. So she would always be even comparing like her hairstyles to mine. The somatic narcissists will do plastic surgery. And my aunt did do plastic surgery. She was very materialistic. She was all about looking good on the outside. And she was actually miserable on the inside. And I know that because living with her, she had this really nice career, nice gated house, like 3 cars, married, 2 kids. But, she would get back home and say how much she hated her job, how much she hated her boss, and how she would rather be doing something else. But then would come back around and tell me that she thinks that I should be doing what she's doing. And I'm like, wait, huh? Why would I do what you're doing? I mean, I understand that you have success and that you have a certain level of, in a sense, you've accomplished a lot, but like at the end of the day, you're not happy, and that's not normal. You shouldn't live like that. But a narcissist will do all that just to look good on the outside, but on the inside, they're suffering, and they want people around them to suffer as well, right? And I remember too, you guys, because my aunt, she tried to control me with finances. Now, I'll probably do this in another video. I did the one about financial abuse, but we can talk about how they use it to actually control their victims and use it against you. But yeah, so I remember there'd be times where because I was young, you guys. I was basically like a teenager, and she would be paying my phone bill. And I'm like, oh, she's helping me out, she's supporting me and all that stuff like that. And, come to find out that she was using the phone bill, her paying the phone bill for me against me, saying like, oh, well, maybe you should get your own bill. And, you're running up the bill, and do we need more data for you? And I get it to a certain extent. Like, yeah, like I was, and by the way, I didn't have this type of phone. I was using like one of those, it was like, I'll never forget, it was like the Verizon phones. It was about this size, and it was like one of those like flip phones where you can like text it, and the actual text numbers were on the screen. So it was like one of those small little phones, and she was like, oh, do you want more data? And it was always something that she was like criticizing me about, putting me down about, and all that kind of stuff. And then eventually I got on my own line, and she was like, oh, well, you sure you want to pay your own phone bill? Or you sure you want to do that? So basically like, trying to instill fear in me, because she didn't want me to be independent of her, because you guys know narcissistic parents or in-laws don't want you to have your own life. They don't want you to have your own identity. You are, in the narcissist's mind, you are an extension of the narcissist, right? So always remember that. And then and then other instances where she would fake invite me, like she wanted to, spend time with me, but in actuality she was just using it to put me down, to belittle me, to humiliate me, to make me feel bad. I remember several instances where she would invite me out to go hang out with her and her sister, and they would be out. We'd be hanging out, and all of a sudden the conversation, well, she would be talking most of the time, but somehow the conversation came to me, and they just started saying like, oh, well, yeah, Joy's the youngest, and well, Joy is a little bit more slimmer than everybody. And I'm thinking like, wait, how did the conversation come on to me? Because I'll give you guys an example, because I'll never forget this. I want to say, was it around the holiday time? I can't remember. I think it was like going into the fall season, but in California back in those days, well, not that long ago, but I think it was like 2014, because I know I went no contact with my aunt in 2015. So, and I was wearing like summer clothes and stuff like that, and my other aunt, she wasn't a narcissist, but the aunt that I'm telling you guys about, she was. So we were all hanging out. I think it was my other aunt, her daughter was doing this Avon meeting, and we all went. And I remember I had on this like long skirt. It was brown, and I guess you can kind of see through it, whatever. It wasn't like, I'm out on the streets, but it was more like, I guess maybe they were expecting me to be like them or something. I don't know. But anyway, my other aunt, not the one that's the narc, but my other one, she was like, oh, Joy, we could see through your skirt and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, all right, thank you. Like, I didn't really know what to say. But this is how I knew that she wasn't a narc. She basically said like, oh, I'm sorry if, you feel some type of way. I'm like, oh, no, I'm good. But I mean, I did kind of feel a little type of way, but I was just like, I'm sure she was just kind of just joking around or whatever. But my aunt kind of chuckled or whatever, And the other thing is too, you guys, I just remembered like how bad I used to feel around my aunt all the time. Like, I never felt good when I was around her, unless it was like, it was her birthday and she was like acting a fool or something, or being obnoxious or abusing somebody or putting somebody down. But I never felt good vibes from her. And it's crazy to think like that your parent or your in-law doesn't have your best interest, but that's how it is with a narcissist, unfortunately. And sometimes that can be really, really hard to accept. I know it was hard for me to accept, and it took me a long while before I went full no contact with my aunt. So I get it. Like, if those of you that are watching and you have, whether it's a narcissistic parent or a narcissistic in-law, to go no contact. And what's interesting is you have like with the in-laws is that maybe you're the partner of an adult child that has a narcissistic parent. Maybe you're in no contact, but your partner is in contact. So I know that can be like a different dynamic, and I'll make a video about that. But it's difficult, and you have to protect yourself, because whether it's the in-law or it's a narc parent, they're always looking for a reaction. They're looking to hurt you. They love the drama. And they're trying to destroy your relationship. That's where I wanted to get back to it, is that narcissistic parents and narcissistic in-laws have power and influence over your relationship. So you really have to be careful and make sure that you don't allow them to destroy your relationship. Don't allow evil to win, because that's not cool for them to try to come in on your relationship and break it apart, because that's what they're really trying to do, especially if it's an in-law and you're dating their child. They're going to do and say anything to get in between you guys, and that's not right, And one of the things that I would recommend is therapy, or you can talk to a coach like myself. I don't consider myself a therapist, so that's why I always recommend either a therapist or a counselor, or if you would like to be coached, I would give you my advice, my experience, and guidance on what I've done and how it's worked for me. But yes, you guys, you do want to be careful. And the reason why I say they have the power to destroy your relationship is because, again, they have influence. A lot of them have power. Some of them have money. Others of them, it's like, But, and for me, I've always said I think that narcissistic females are worse than the men, because the females have a little bit more influence and control over the children, in a sense, right? Because they say God is the head of the household, and they say there's the man, and then there's the female, right? But she's in control of the kids. You get what I'm saying? So if your parent is a narcissist, or you have a narc in-law, that person is going to try to intrude in on that relationship, and they have influence over that relationship, and they're trying to destroy it. That's their goal. That's what they want to do. But I'll give you guys this example, and I'll let you go. I don't want this video to be too long. But so the reason why I say that my aunt was trying to destroy my relationships was because I remember she would always be comparing even my closest friends to me, basically saying like, oh, well, so and so has a degree, how come you don't have your degree? You know, or she would even be comparing me to my older cousin. You guys, my older cousin is like 9 or 10 years older than me. She was like, oh, Joy, so and so has muscles, where's your muscles at? I see you're a pescatarian. What type of vegetables do you eat? Do you even know what kind of vegetables that you want? Like, are you sure you're even eating the right stuff? You know what I mean? And so it was a lot of that going on, comparing me for no reason, just wanted to upset me, wanted to get me all in my emotions, you know. And the in-laws will do that too. They will try to upset your partner, they'll try to upset you, get a reaction, and then try to play the victim to their adult child to get the child to break up with you. So you want to be careful with that. But even I remember when I was dating before I met my boyfriend now, I remember when people would come and like visit me or just hang out, you know, my aunt was very standoffish. A lot of people would be like, oh, well, why is she like that? And I'd be like, I don't know. I didn't know it was a personality disorder, but now I know. But yeah, they'd be saying like, I don't think your aunt likes me. And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't see it. Because some people would tell me about it, but I had to actually experience it. So anyway, I hope that this video was helpful. If you do have a narcissistic parents or you have narcissistic in-laws, I know how difficult that can be. One of the things that I would say is just distance yourself and protect yourself, protect your relationship, get you and your partner into therapy, get a couples counseling. Definitely is helpful. As I said, if you want to reach out to me for any support or advice, I'm here. You guys can send me an email at livenarcfree9@gmail.com, or you can book a support session for more information. But yeah, don't allow the in-laws and the narc to destroy your relationship. Protect it. Now, if the other thing is flip side, if your partner is a narcissist, then you might want to kind of reconsider, because that's not going to work. Like your partner has to either be like a scapegoat or something like that, and I'll do a video about that too. The golden child is like they may be in denial, but the scapegoat can relate to you, especially if you're dealing with the in-law, because the in-law has already treated the scapegoat child, which is the person that you're dating. They've treated them like crap, and so when you come in, you're new in the relationship, so they're going to start treating you like crap as well. So they can relate. But the issue is going no contact, right? So that's the thing. And I guess I can give you guys some homework, is really, whether it's you or your partner, or it's just you, like if you have a narc parent, you know, unfortunately, you're going to have to start to distance yourself. You got to distance yourself, and you got to get into counseling or a therapist or something, someone you can talk to that you can relate to, work through your trauma. Read, and I'm actually going to be getting these books, and I'm definitely going to be sharing them with you. It's called the Disease to Please. Go on Amazon, you can find that book. I think it's by Harriet. I forgot the name of the person's last name, but anyway, get that book. And also there's a book that I'm going to be getting. I think, did I write it down? I think it was Surviving the Thriving CPTSD, because a lot of us victims and survivors, we do have CPTSD. So, and that's something that I'm working through as well, because I'm not, you know, I've experienced this. This is like my real life experience, you know. So definitely. And then yeah, just start doing that inner work, journaling, meditating, praying, you know, separating yourself from the narcissistic parent and the in-law, because sometimes what they can do is they can enmesh their children, and basically where it's like, this is an enmeshment with a parent or a narc in-law. This is how they'll have you like that. They'll have you like this with them. But in actuality, it's supposed to be like this. Everybody's supposed to have their space. They're supposed to have their boundaries, but not with narcissistic parents, not with narcissistic in-law. They're going to have you like this, right? And sorry about my nails, but I'm going to get them done. We're probably doing myself. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you guys. And I'm going to talk more about that in later videos. But let me know what you guys think. If you are dealing with a narcissistic parent or in-law, let me know how that experience is going. Have you guys gone no contact? Do you still have low contact? I would love to hear. But yeah, you definitely got to do the inner work and practice no contact. If it's, you know, You got to start small, but you got to realize that you deserve to be free. You deserve to be happy, and if someone doesn't make you feel good, or the energy is off, even if it is family, you have to do what's best for you at the end of the day. And also, another homework could be is write down some of the things that this person did and said to you, because this can help you to realize that, hey, like, this is not right. Because what it is that we have a lot of the cognitive dissonance going on and the trauma bonding, which is keeping us attached to either it's our narcissistic parent or it's the in-law, right? So anyway, I love you guys. I hope that you enjoy this. And if there's any other topics that you guys want to learn about, leave them below in the comment box and I'll make a video about it, okay? So we can all learn. All right, guys. Love you. See you in the next video. Bye.